problem that I have with this whole situation. But I am going to save this conversation for Jay-Z. Jay-Z, you're watching. I know you're watching, but you got people calling me. Stop having people call me. You can call me yourself. You know how to get my number. You know you got people calling me. Call me yourself, because this right here is going to go viral. The way my job works on the internet, everybody's going to be clipping, sharing on TikTok. Watch this.
You see, I think I sent you that thing with Jazz. Jazz went in when they was going at it, Bo and Jay. But you look at the Jazz now, it's like he's on eggshells now. Like something happened. Like this can stop your career or whatever you doing. This is what I try to tell dudes, yo, whatever God got for you, I don't give a damn billionaire, whoever, this, that, and the third. Can't stop it.
Prince's final social media post wasn't just a warning. It read like a death sentence, one of those messages that sounds vague to the public but lands like a direct hit to the people it's aimed at. In the months leading up to his 2016 tragedy, Prince had stumbled onto something dark, a chain of manipulation and shady backdoor dealings that pointed straight toward Jay-Z and Beyoncé's empire. Those closest to him said he was preparing to blow the whole thing open, ready to expose what he believed was a massive deception. Reports claimed he wanted to reveal how the couple's glamorous business web, especially their streaming service, Tidal, was allegedly built on fake agreements, silenced artists, and contracts designed to outlive the very people who signed them. Just 6 days after he hinted online that his own fans weren't safe, the man who fought harder than anyone for musicians' rights was suddenly gone, leaving the world shocked and suspicious. But the story didn't fade. It only grew louder. Behind closed doors, a quiet legal fight began to brew, slowly turning into a storm. In July 2024, the Prince estate filed explosive court documents accusing Tidal and Roc Nation of falsifying and even backdating paperwork to seize control of over 500 of his songs. The accusations rattled the entire industry, making it painfully clear that whatever Prince was uncovering didn't die with him. What those filings describe isn't just a business disagreement. People are calling it a full-blown criminal operation. According to the Prince estate, this wasn't about royalties or licensing fees. It was a calculated attempt to rewrite history. Fake ownership papers, manipulative legal maneuvers, and the exploitation of an artist's legacy while the world was still mourning him. The same platform that claimed to protect musicians might have used Prince's death as a perfect opportunity to grab his entire life's work for themselves. And here's the twist that stings the most. Back in 2015, Prince was one of Tidal's loudest, proudest supporters. He publicly praised Jay-Z's platform for finally showing real respect to artists. At that time, Prince believed Tidal was a safe haven he'd been fighting for his whole career, far away from the greedy corporations that had trapped artists in abusive contracts for decades. He truly thought Jay-Z understood his mission, the same mission he began back in the 90s when he wrote Slave across his face in rebellion against the system. But insiders claim that trust was twisted and weaponized against him. At the heart of all this chaos lies a mysterious document known as the equity term sheet. Tidal insists it gave them permanent control over hundreds of Prince's recordings. But Prince's team has pushed back hard, saying that agreement was never legitimate to begin with. During the negotiations, Fedra Ellis-Lampkins dropped a bombshell, revealing that her communications with the company didn't match any of the details in the contract Tidal later presented in court. According to the Prince estate's legal team, the document Tidal showed wasn't merely suspicious. They claim it was outright fabricated. Even was. They say it was secretly backdated to July 2015 to make it look like Prince had approved the deal long before his death. If that accusation is proven true, it could destroy Tidal's entire legal claim to Prince's catalog. And it leaves one haunting question behind. If Prince didn't sign those papers, then who did? Behind that question, investigators see something much bigger, a shadow of a massive cover-up. The theory is simple. It was a desperate race to secure a billion-dollar music catalog, no matter the cost. Not long after Prince's tragic passing in April 2016, Tidal suddenly began streaming his entire discography, from timeless classics to rare, unreleased vault material. But according to filings from NPG Records, none of it had ever been officially approved. They said Tidal moved aggressively, pushing Prince's entire catalog online without authorization, almost as if someone wanted everything out in the open before anyone had the chance to stop them. Tidal's team seemed confident the Prince estate would be too overwhelmed and too unprepared to push back. And for a while, that gamble paid off. For months, Prince's music dominated their platform, pulling in millions while his own A's couldn't even log into his accounts. It was a ruthless power play that left his family scrambling for answers. Then came Jay-Z's public counterattack. In 2017, he dropped the track Caught Their Eyes on his 444 album, a song that felt like a message, a warning, and a subtle rebuttal all in one. Without naming lawsuits or players, Jay-Z positioned himself as Prince's trusted confidant, claiming they'd spoken eye to eye and that he alone understood what the late icon truly wanted. On the surface, it sounded heartfelt, but to the Prince estate, it looked like a calculated attempt to twist the narrative. The same filings Jay-Z dismissed as greed allegedly showed major gaps between the supposed contract and every verified piece of Prince's real communication. And the timing of those lyrics, right after the lawsuit, felt less like tribute and more like a taunt. At the center of the backlash was Lundell Macmillan, Prince's longtime attorney, the man Jay-Z accused of seeing green through purple eyes. Macmillan didn't sit quietly. He fired back in public, reminding everyone that he was the one who helped Prince break free from the system that made him right slave across his face. He said Jay-Z's companies were trying to grab control of the very thing Prince dedicated his life defending, the right to decide how his art was used. Macmillan insisted there was never a binding contract giving Tidal full rights, only a temporary streaming deal for one album. But behind all the legal noise, a darker rumor began surfacing, one that reportedly came straight from Prince himself. Close friends said that in early 2016, Prince admitted he believed powerful industry figures were disguising manipulation as creative freedom. He allegedly confided that behind closed doors, certain artists were being cornered, pressured into impossible contracts or forced into loyalty tests that had nothing to do with music. Even more disturbing, he hinted that some of those people belonged to the same elite circle connected to Tidal. Whether these claims can ever be proven is unknown, but they cast a chilling shadow over the secrecy that surrounded his final months. And now, the July 2024 lawsuit has only intensified those suspicions. Among the evidence the Prince estate demanded are private emails and internal messages between Tidal executives, Roc Nation lawyers, and Phaedra Ellis-Lampkin herself. But here's where things take a wild turn. The defendant refused to turn over those communications, hiding behind something called the common interest doctrine. Legal experts immediately flagged it as suspicious. That doctrine is normally used when people are united in a joint legal defense, not when they are working on a basic business deal. Analysts believe those withheld messages might reveal deep coordination between multiple companies, possibly even exposing how Prince's signature was forged to seize control of his catalog. The estate insists those hidden communications are the smoking gun, the missing piece that could blow the entire case open. But while they push for the truth, Jay-Z's team keeps trying to steer the narrative elsewhere, arguing that Prince personally wanted his music to stay with Tidal. Yet insiders say that version doesn't match reality. According to several people who worked closely with him, Prince's trust in Tidal was already fracturing by late 2015, right after he discovered the platform had uploaded far more than the single album he authorized. That realization devastated him. He felt tricked, boxed in, and betrayed by a company he once believed was fighting for artist freedom. Those same insiders revealed that he was preparing to take legal action when he posted his chilling message on April 15, 2016, just when you thought you were safe. A sentence that now sounds like a warning wrapped inside a fear he could no longer ignore. And then, only 6 days later, devastating news came out of Minneapolis. Prince was found unresponsive in an elevator at Paisley Park. The official statement listed it as an accidental overdose from prescription medication, but many close to him never believed that was a full story. They remembered how, in his final weeks, Prince had installed new security cameras, fired staff he believed were leaking information, and even told friend the elevator symbolized dark forces moving through the music industry. To some, that lyric felt like an eerie signal, almost as if Jay-Z knew exactly what Prince had been warning about. And since Prince's passing, the storm hasn't faded at all. It's only grown louder. The estate's newest filings accused Tidal of continuing to profit from his catalog long after they were legally ordered to take it down. And now, fresh whistleblowers have stepped forward, claiming Tidal's internal accounting system hid royalty payments not just from Prince's estate, but from other major artists as well. That revelation hit the industry like a lightning strike. Everything unraveling today sounds exactly like the warning Prince had been shouting for years, that streaming platforms are becoming the new gatekeepers, controlling music in ways even the old record labels never dared. He always said the myth of artist ownership was just that, a myth, a clever illusion to convince creators they had power while someone else pulled every string. This legal war feels like a mirror reflecting that truth, almost word for word. Jay-Z, once celebrated as a blueprint for independence and fairness, is now being portrayed in court filings as a very kind of industry figure Prince spent decades fighting against. The irony is sharp enough to feel personal. For a man who built his entire empire around freedom,
So, as we look at Jay-Z's life, he's a billionaire, married to Beyoncé. Do you feel like he's truly reaped the karma of all his actions?
Where the karma is at?
That's what I'm saying.
Nah, well,
Or do you feel like he ever will?
I feel like if you done people wrong, you know you done people wrong.
transparency, and integrity, being accused of manipulating contracts to seize another legend's master's lands right at the heart of everything he claimed to stand for. It's a twist brutal enough to shake even his most loyal supporters. And the biggest question still hangs heavy in the air. Why keep all of this buried? Sources close to the estate whisper that the motive runs much deeper than royalties. They believe the real prize isn't just Prince's official catalog, it's the vault. That legendary archive rumored to contain thousands of unreleased songs, demos, videos, and projects that could redefine his legacy all over again. Controlling that vault could change everything. Losing control of Prince's catalog would be a devastating blow, but the mystery stretches far beyond royalty checks and business contracts. Those digging into his final weeks said the clues point to something much darker, something deeper than paperwork or ownership. Prince's digital trail shows a man surrounded by tension, secrecy, and growing paranoia. He began canceling shows, avoiding public events, and posting cryptic messages about energy vampires and silent battles too dangerous to name. It felt like he knew the clock was running out. Whether that fear came from real threats or calculated manipulation, nobody can say for certain. But one thing is clear, Prince's final warning was never symbolic. His last post now read like breadcrumbs, not poetry, signs that he stumbled onto something powerful people never wanted exposed. And with the 2024 lawsuit dragging new evidence into the light, internal memos, delayed fund transfers, unsigned documents tied to title leadership, the scope of the situation is becoming impossible to ignore. What's forming isn't just a fight over song rights anymore. It's a high-stakes battle over legacy control, over who gets to shape an artist's story long after they're gone. At its core, this entire saga isn't about music at all. It's about truth itself. Prince's final message wasn't aimed at one platform or one mogul. It was a warning about what happens when genuine artistic freedom threatens an empire built on ownership and control. And when you connect that message to the tragedy inside Paisley Park, one haunting question refuses to fade. Was Prince's silence the price for what he uncovered, or the beginning of a reckoning still unfolding today? His death didn't just end his voice. It erased evidence and placed power into the hands of the very people he was investigating. Not long after his passing, Jay-Z's legal team invoked the common interest doctrine, a subtle but strategic move that allowed them to shield internal emails shared between Tidal, Roc Nation, and Prince's former associate Federer Ellis Lampkins. On paper, it looked routine. Behind closed doors, it became a fortress, and the tactic worked almost too perfectly. Those communications, the ones that could reveal who fabricated or approved the suspicious contracts, vanished behind layers of confidentiality claims. To this day, no one outside Jay-Z's circle has seen them. The silence around those files feels louder than ever, leaving the world wondering just how deep this goes. The doctrine was meant to protect co-defendants with united defense, but here, it turned into a wall, blocking access to evidence the estate desperately needed. Industry insiders whisper that those hidden emails might reveal exactly who drafted the mysterious equity term sheet, the same document accused of being forged to hand control of Prince's catalog to Tidal. Without them, the estate was left fighting half-blind, relying on circumstantial clues while Jay-Z's lawyers repeated the same line. Prince approved everything. It was a master strategy: delay, deny, and bury the truth beneath legal paperwork until the world moved on. But L. Lundell Macmillan refused to fade away. As Prince's longtime attorney and one of the few people who knew exactly what he had signed before his death, Macmillan became a dangerous witness. Jay-Z even called him out and caught their eyes, accusing him of betrayal and greed. But Macmillan fired back in Billboard and other outlets, calling Jay-Z's version a lie and reminding the world he was the one who helped Prince escape suffocating record deals in the 90s, the same kind of exploitation Tidal claimed to fight. To many watching, Jay-Z's lyrical shots didn't look personal. They looked strategic, discredit the messenger, and you weaken the message before it ever reaches a courtroom. And Macmillan's warnings proved chillingly accurate. By late 2017, the estate uncovered internal emails that looked like the smoking gun, messages indicating Tidal's contracts were backdated to appear legitimate. It was a breakthrough they needed. Then everything went dark. Days before court experts could review those critical files, the estate servers were mysteriously hacked. Years of email correspondence wiped out, including the attachments that were about to expose everything. Investigators never found the culprit, but the timing was impossible to ignore. That same week, Roc Nation's lawyers filed motions to block further document requests, creating a wall of red tape right as the evidence vanished. One insider didn't hold back, calling it digital sabotage disguised as coincidence. The phrase spread fast because it felt uncomfortably accurate. And it didn't stop there. Over the next few years, other music estates, smaller ones, the kind without Prince's global reach, started finding eerily similar problems buried in their own archives. Former managers for forgotten soul and R&B acts came forward, saying they uncovered duplicate contracts tucked inside old folders, and those documents matched the exact same format and phrasing as the disputed Tidal papers. It painted a disturbing picture, one that hinted this wasn't just about Prince. It might have been part of something much bigger. In several of those estates, the signatures on key contracts didn't just look suspicious, they were blatantly inconsistent. Some appeared to be lifted straight from older, unrelated documents. The pattern was impossible to ignore. After each artist passed away, control of their music catalogs somehow ended up flowing to the same streaming platform every single time. Under the shiny banner of exclusivity and artist empowerment, a much darker reality was forming. Tidal wasn't just battling over Prince. Insiders say it was perfecting a system. The alleged strategy was simple but ruthless. Secure rights to the catalogs of deceased or inactive artists, then claim the agreement had been finalized while they were still alive. Everything looked legitimate on paper, but in reality, priceless catalogs were being turned into digital gold mines locked under corporate control. Most estates didn't have the money or legal power to fight back, and the public, distracted by non-stop headlines, lost interest long before the truth could reach a courtroom. The few people brave enough to speak up paid the price. L. Lundell Macmillan's reputation took major hits. His name was dragged through the press, painted as greedy and unreliable. Phaedra Ellis Lampkins, who once worked closely with Prince's family, suddenly went silent, telling friends she was under heavy legal pressure from multiple directions. Even members of Prince's own estate began stepping back, terrified of rising legal costs and the quiet warning circulating through the industry. By the time the first hearings wrapped up, the narrative had completely flipped. Jay-Z was being framed as a misunderstood visionary fighting for fairness, while Prince's defenders were recast as money-hungry opportunists. It was a stunning twist, an industry classic, a perfect reversal straight out of the oldest playbook in music. Then the whispers started, and they grew fast. Industry insiders began connecting the same shady tactics used in Prince's case to other big-name artists. In 2023, a former Roc Nation associate dropped a bombshell on a podcast, claiming similar contract adjustments had been used while negotiating streaming rights for several high-value catalogs, some belonging to stars who pass away suddenly or under mysterious circumstances. None of these claims have been officially proven, but the details line up almost too perfectly with what Prince's estate found. One attorney close to multiple estates revealed that every time a family tried to question these altered contracts, they slammed into the same brick wall, that infamous common interest doctrine. The same legal shield that buried Prince's truth was now reportedly being used again and again to block families from getting answers. And the deeper this web goes, the bigger the picture becomes. Jay-Z and Beyoncé's empire has long been built on strict image control. Every leak counted, every rumor redirected, every scandal neutralized before it could grow. When Jaguar Wright and other former insiders accused Jay-Z of manipulating people behind closed doors, they were dismissed as unstable. And when songwriters like Tiffany Red called out Beyoncé's camp for silencing creators through harsh NDAs, the mainstream media barely blinked. But now, viewed through the lens of what happened to Prince, those scattered stories don't sound random anymore. They connect like fragments of a much larger pattern, a powerful network that protects its own, rewrites narratives, and quietly erases anyone who challenges the system. We've seen how missing evidence, vanished emails, and the sudden silence of key witnesses all tie together. And every thread leads back to the same place, a streaming empire that once promised freedom, but delivered something far more sinister, ownership. At the center of it stand two of the biggest names in music, icons whose billion-dollar legacy now depends on keeping these uncomfortable questions buried as a state lawsuits drag slowly through the courts. The pattern has become impossible to ignore. Files disappear. Witnesses retract statements. Archives get accidentally corrupted. And the deeper anyone digs, the more the truth slips away. Maybe that's the point. Maybe that's exactly how it was designed. That's why the industry still whispers about what Prince was really uncovering in his final days. Because he wasn't just fighting for control of his music. He was exposing a system built to outlive its victims. Those missing files might have revealed everything. How the deals were made, who signed them, and how the industry quietly rewrites history while the world is distracted by the next viral headline. But someone made sure those truths stayed buried. Now, every time another artist estate reports missing paperwork or mysteriously altered contracts, we can't help but wonder whose fingerprints are on it. Because let's be honest, Prince wasn't the first artist Jay-Z's business machine clashed with, and he probably won't be the last.